Here we're looking at this car for a pre-purchase inspection, just to check the health of it before customers gonna go ahead and buy it. First point to look at is the tyres. Look at the tread depth going all the way across. Then you're gonna look at these gap lines in the bumper and in the bonnet, and then we're gonna move along the car to the other side. Check this side, make sure they both look the same. If the gap's bigger on one side than it is on the other, it's a good sign that it's had a accident and it's been put back together and the alignment of the bodywork is out of place. And then if you're going to look down the car, see if you can see any sort of paintwork that's been renewed. Got the gaps down the door here. Gonna look at another gap here, and then the back here is the most common. I can see that this corner here is slightly out of line. It sort of sticks out a little bit. If you look at the alloy wheels, this one is corroding quite badly. It's gonna need refurbing if you want them to look nice. You don't have to if you're not really worried about the looks cosmetically, but it doesn't look very nice. Common problem with these, as I'm opening the door there, handle is sticking. So as I'm closing the door, see there that wasn't the door's closing, so that can be a bit dodgy. Probably just needs greasing up. Having a look to try and plug it in for the OBD, and it's missing down the back here. Found it. It shouldn't be dangling back there like that, it should be in place. You can get the key in and have a look at some diagnostic on the car. Now we're going through the scan. Everything seems okay. Got one. Quite surprising to have that little amount of faults on a car like this, to be honest. Junction box electronics. Mirror spray nozzle heating left. Never heard of that one before. So we started the car up, and we're going to let it idle for a while, and then we're going to keep an eye on the temperature. While it's idling, we're going to check some other bits and pieces on the car. Have a look under the bonnet, just check the visual condition of the engine. Down through the side here, is there any oil leaking? I know these are common for the oil filter housing here. Usually down between here at the bottom of the tray, you usually see oil leaks. More common on the diesels than it is on this petrol. Gonna check the condition of the oil and coolant. Obviously be very careful when you're opening one of these. Nice and slowly. Nice clear colour, green. Doesn't look contaminated. After a test drive, if there's any pressure coming out of here when you open it, like it's overflowing or it bursts up, Obviously you got to be very careful you don't burn yourself, but if that happens, it's a big sign to say no to the car. It's building up pressure. We've got a car jacked up. It's going to give us a chance to have a better look inside. The suspension all the way to the top, to the bottom. See if there's any cracks on the coil springs. You can roll the tyre around and check it, and then it also gives you a chance to check the wheel bearing, make sure it's not noising or any movement in it. Check for movement in the wheels, and then you can go underneath, have a look at the condition of the rubber bushes and joints. Everything looks in good condition here, really. And you can look at the exhaust, and then we've got the other side over here too. If we come in closer on the wheel and check the condition of the brake discs, it's got a few little lines on it, but it's in a usable condition. Again, we've got the corrosion here on the wheel. I'm going to check the rear suspension, coil spring, it's in a good condition, and condition of the rear arms, any play in them or rust. Have a look in the boot. Most common areas around here. See if it's ever had any major accident damage. Looking underneath the boot floor, if it's accessible. Which on this is not. If you can access it from there, get a good idea from looking underneath through here. You can see the support panel is still there and it's still intact, it's not bent from any previous accidents. And the chassis legs. Wheels all the way left and right. Not sure if you can hear that, but it's all sorts of noises coming from the steering. As we're braking, you got some squeal. I'm gonna have it in, say, third gear, have the revs around 1,000 mark, and then you can accelerate to see, you know, how it's picking up. Is it struggling? You have any jitters, shakes from low revs. Low revs is the most common place where you're going to have signs of engine problems. Seems to be picking up. And then you're going to have a mix of, you know, putting in a lower gear and high acceleration. Good idea to take the car down, you know, a nice bumpy road where you can, if there's any bumps or clunks or noises, you're going to hear it. If you're driving on a straight, flat, quiet road, then you're not really going to notice some things. And another thing is to try the car in some different scenarios. So in reverse, steering wheel all the way left. I'm going to try backing up. Have a play around with the clutch, nice and sharp up and down. Make sure it feels strong. By turning the wheel all the way and driving it, especially if it's front wheel drive, you're gonna, if you hear any sort of clicking as you turn the wheel all the way, then It's going to have some drive shaft issues. This being a rear wheel drive, you're not really going to see that so much, but it's always a good idea to turn the wheel all the way left and right when you're reversing and pulling forward. And don't just drive it smoothly, you know. Play with the clutch a bit. See, is it biting nicely? Now that I'm braking, the brake squeal's gone. So it had a little bit of squeal when I first drove it. So after the test drive, yeah, we've got this fault coming up now. Air mass. Nothing too major, but it could just need a service. Maybe the air filter's blocked, or it's got a dodgy air mass meter. It's not too expensive. So we've run another diagnostic after the test drive. And now we've got a couple of extra faults. Sign internal battery. Footwell module 4. Maybe it's had a weak battery. Electrical. The engine's been running for a while. I'm going to try the coolant cap again. Make sure it's not pressurizing. That's fine. Look at the crank pulley on the bottom. Seems to be running smooth. With the squealing from the steering, sometimes the crank pulley are wobbling and about to fall off. So that's the end of that car. If you've got any further questions, you can always just write a comment below. Thank you. Bye.